guys, what's up? So today we're going to talk about tectonic plates and plate boundaries and what happens at the plate boundaries. So you should have handout 5-1 in front of you so that you can take the notes. I'm going to be filling them in with you and kind of explaining a couple things as we go. So this is the handout you should have in front of you. You should see some blanks that you're going to be filling in. I'll be filling them in with you. So the objective here is that we can describe how the movement of crustal plates can cause earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that can result in mountain building and trench formation. I can identify events and the landforms created by them on the Earth's surface that occur at different plate boundaries. So basically you need to understand the different types of boundaries that exist and what happens at those boundaries. So plate tectonics, what are they? Basically the movement of large sections of the Earth's crust called tectonic plates. So the tectonic plates are large pieces of the Earth's crust that move around, and they're constantly moving, and when we say moving, like just centimeters every year. So the tectonic plates are basically floating on top of magma, which causes them to move, and they collide with one another along plate boundaries. So there's a few different types of plate boundaries that you might have heard of before. The first type that we're going to talk about are called transform boundaries. The second type are called divergent boundaries. And the third type are convergent boundaries. So first type we're going to talk about are transform boundaries. So transform boundaries are where two plates slide horizontally past each other. So occasionally what happens with a transform boundary is because the plates are doing this, sliding past each other, so usually like one's going this way and one's going the other way. So because that's happening, they kind of sometimes get stuck on each other. So if they were like this and then they kind of get stuck, that's where you get an earthquake that can form. So occasionally the energy released can cause an earthquake. Transform boundary is actually the big boundary that is on in California, the San Andreas Fault. So that is where California kind of gets some of its earthquakes. So if you look here, this is a picture of an actual area in California where this is the actual transform boundary itself. So over here on this side is one plate, and then over here on this side is a different plate. So the plates are meeting kind of where you're seeing this boundary right here, or this line. So those are transform boundaries. The next type we're going to talk about are called divergent boundaries. So this prefix, di, you've seen before, or to diverge is to go in opposite directions. So this is where two plates are moving away from each other. So they're moving in opposite directions, okay? So because they're kind of pulling apart from each other, this usually happens under the ocean, and this is how new ocean crust gets formed, because basically it makes the new crust because they move apart, and then the magma, which is like the lava, comes up, and then it hardens and forms new crust. Okay, so this is where you get something called, we get a type of landform called a mid-ocean ridge. Okay, so this is just a picture to show you the plates moving apart. The magma comes up through the spot where they've moved apart. And then the next type we're going to talk about, which actually has like different ones within it, are called convergent boundaries. So think convergent, come together. Convergent, come together. So this is where two plates, convergent, where two plates move toward each other. So basically, as they come toward each other and kind of rub up against each other or go up over each other, basically you can get small and large earthquakes that are common here. So there's three different types of convergent boundaries. So the first type is called oceanic. So it's when two oceanic plates converge. So when two ocean plates come together, one is usually, this word is subducted, which means it goes under the other one. So you can see that here in this picture where it's kind of going under the other plate. And in the process, a trench is formed. Whoa, sorry. A trench is formed. So real quick, before I keep filling stuff in, let's go down to the bottom of your paper where it says an oceanic plate equals. What an oceanic plate is, when I'm referring to oceanic plates, I'm talking about tectonic plates that are under the ocean. Okay? And if it's a continental continental plate, it is a plate that's located under the land. So oceanic is under ocean, continental on land. So back up to the three types. So this first type that you're seeing is oceanic, so two ocean plates. The second type is called oceanic continental, because it's when an oceanic and a continental plate come together. One is usually subducted under the other, causing sorry, let me look back, make sure I'm on the right thing. Oh, volcanoes and mountains to form. Okay? So that's ocean, that is this picture where you have continental crust kind of pushing up, and then the oceanic crust is going under. So it's kind of happening right at the edge of where the ocean and the land meet. So this is where we get volcanoes and mountains forming. And then the last type is when you have two continental. So when two continental plates converge, one is usually subducted under the other, causing, this is where we get big mountains that form. So causing mountains to form. So this is where you get a whole mountain range, because basically you're getting two land, so continental plates coming together, so they kind of push like this up on each other, which forms mountains. Okay, so that should cover all of the information that you need to make sure that you go over and review for plate tectonics. At the bottom of your sheet or on the last page, you have some questions that you need to answer based on what you learned in the notes. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's it.